I'm a procrastinator. It's not really that I'm a procrastinator, it's just that I've got so much stuff going on. Juggle, 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 right? I'm running an online web store. I'm buying beads. I'm designing projects. I'm doing videos. I'm putting kits together. I'm writing instructions for the kits. There's a lot of moving parts. I'm ordering supplies for the kits. I actually had intended to do this video 2 years ago. I've actually had kits made for this video for the last 2 years. And they've just been sitting on a shelf waiting for me to have time. And now I'm on a pearl and leather kick. And so now is finally the moment for this project to finally come to you guys on video. I just think that's funny. As a matter of fact, we are in the process of moving our business. Jill Wiseman Designs is moving into a much bigger building in about 2 weeks. So excited. It's almost double the size. I'm going to have a dedicated film studio there. And so more videos are coming your way. And so because we have more space now, we're going to have the ability to add more products. We're going to have some more staff to facilitate. Basically, they're going to take some stuff off my hands so I can spend more time designing. The reason I mentioned all that is because we're in the process of starting to pack. And wouldn't you know it, of course, I had these kits and this project and all those samples from 2 years ago sitting on a shelf that my staff had already packed. and I went over there and I went, it's gone. And they said, what are you looking for? And I said, well, that pearl bracelet there. And my mother looked at me and she went, it's been sitting there for 2 years and now you need it? I'm like, well, yes, now I need it. So we had to unpack it from the box. That's the way my life works. But I am so in love with these freshwater pearls that I've been able to get in. Specifically excited the most about the big hole pearls because you're being able with a big hole pearl to use materials that you couldn't with a standard size pearl hole. Normally a standard size pearl hole, you can get a couple of passes of needle and thread through there or a fine beading wire. But you're not going to get something like leather through there, and you're not going to get something like waxed cord or cotton cord through there. You need big hole pearls for that. So these pearls that I have gotten in, they have 2mm holes, which gives us so many options. And the one that I was playing with here is with the leather. Let me bring it in close and show you what I've done. Clearly, you can see that I've been having a good time with this. So these 3 here are the ones that I have kits for currently. We'll have a rotating supply of kits as various, I'll have various buttons. Look at all these gorgeous buttons that I put in these kits. These 2 came from the Czech Republic. I picked those up when I was in the Czech Republic a couple years ago. This one is a gorgeous tiara cast button. And so this is like a total beginner level project. This is simple knotting with pearls and leather, and you need so little in terms of supply for this. It's just crazy. And it's also like a 15-minute project. I kid you not. We're going to do it right here. So kits for this are available. I really, really, really love this one too that I just did. This is a brand new tiara cast button they're calling the Mandala button. And oh my gosh, Mandela. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm so in love with this button. It's not even funny. And I really like the way the white and the natural cord work together on this one. So I'm thinking that we're probably going to kit that one up too. So that was the sample that I made just this morning. And I made it, like I said, in about 15 minutes. So let me show you what supplies you need. And get these out of the way here. You're going to need some big hole pearls. Now big hole pearls are sold in an 8-inch strand instead of a normal 16-inch strand. So the good news is that it is enough to make a generous size bracelet. I need an 8-inch bracelet, so it made this 8-inch bracelet, and I had enough left over for a second sample here. So there'll be a second 8-inch bracelet off the same strand and a pair of earrings. So even though it's only an 8-inch strand, you're still able to take that a long way, obviously because the leather is taking up quite a bit of the space on this bracelet, so it spaces them out nicely. One of the things that I want to show you also is there's a slight difference in the spacing that I did with the leather here. So here I left quite a bit more space between the knots for the pearl to move around. Here I tried to make the knots much closer so that the pearl was more locked into place. And that's just going to be a preference on your part, which way you go. Then you're going to need a button of some sort. Again, this is a brand spanking new Tiara cast button that is literally not even hit the market as I make this video. So I will have that in stock very soon. And then my 1.5 millimeter Greek leather cord. I have a meeting very soon with a new leather manufacturer. I believe I'm going to switch over to their leather. It will be an Indian leather, but it will be a good quality Indian leather. And one of the advantages is that instead of the 10 or so colors of leather that I have now, they have like 30 colors and they're gorgeous. So I'm really pleased with that. But what we're using today is the 1.5 millimeter. Okay. So that's all we need is leather, a button, and pearls. Boom. And a scissors of some sort. So for the length, what I want to do is cut it about 3 to 4 times the finished length that I want. So you never can add cord on later with a project like this and have it look good. So you want to make sure that you have plenty. Now, because I need an 8-inch bracelet, I'm going to go ahead and cut about 36 inches. So I'm going to do like about a yard of cord here. And then I'm actually going to double that because we're going to use 2 strands. All right, so let me cut that where that doubled over, and we'll see how much I have left over. We're going to string the button onto one end of the cord, and then we're going to center that button. So I'm just going to put the 2 ends together and then pull that button down to where it's centered. And now I can just tie an overhand knot right there. So you're literally just going around your finger and then bringing those cords through the center of that hole. As I tighten it up, I want the knot to go fairly close to the button, and it seems like it kind of wants to close down over here. I want it to close a little bit closer to the button, so I'm going to loosen it up and wiggle it up there. One of the ways you can do this also is if you have an awl, you can kind of put your awl in there and help pull and drag that knot to where you want it to be. So there we go. That's a pretty decent area. The button will have plenty of room to lay flat, and the loop has enough room here for it to sit when we bring the other end around. All right, so here we go. We're just going to pick one side of this. I'm going to cut that leather on an angle on that side that I'm stringing the pearl onto. It makes it just a little bit easier to string the pearl on. So I'm stringing a pearl on, and this, even though it's 1.5 millimeter leather, some of these 2 millimeter hole button or pearls are not wanting to go on. There is a tolerance in when they're making leather like this. So even though they say it's 1.5, it could be up to 1.8 millimeter. And I did notice that this particular bit looks bigger, thicker than the other. This is also 1.5, so this just happens to be a thicker 1.5. All right, but that one goes in no problem. I'm going to bring that down, and then I'm going to take both cords, and again, I'm just tying an overhand knot. Come on. It's stiff right now because I haven't worked with it yet, so it's still a little on the stiff side. And this is where you can decide whether you want to knot it up nice and close, whether you want to give it more room to play. You also use fewer pearls that way. So let's do a more room to play one. Now what I'm going to try to do as I go along is I'm going to try to recreate roughly that same amount of space between these. Then let me show you that you've got one more choice to make here. You can continue to put the pearl on the same side of the leather, two leather strands, or you can alternate them. Let me show you what the difference looks like. So here I did it all on the same side. You can see that the pearls all lay to the outside here. On this one, I alternated. And so it gives it a slightly more, I don't know, boho, rustic kind of look. It doesn't look bad on your wrist. I think it looks great. So it's up to you whether you want to alternate or do it on the same side. It just gave me an excuse to work with purple more, you know. I'm going to go ahead and keep these on the same side. So it's the top strand of leather here. Grab another pearl, string it on, bring it down. And like I said, I want to try to now recreate that spacing a little bit. So probably right about there. Tie my overhand knot as I'm pushing down here. There we go. Get that nice and tight in there. All right. I didn't do too bad. That spacing looks pretty decent. Interestingly enough, there we go. There we go. Now they're sitting on the same side. It just needed a little bit of a twist. All right, one more pearl. String it on, bring it down, find my spacing. So when I find my spacing, I'm kind of pinching to see where that is, and then I'm bringing my finger out a little bit from there to wrap it around. I'm also trying to keep these cords parallel along my finger. It'll just make for a slightly nicer looking knot. All right, so you can see where it's all they're laying side by side really nicely. And that gives me a chance here to tighten. All right, that's all looking pretty good. What happens with leather is as you wear this, it's really going to absorb oils and really sink into these knots so that they will completely never come undone. It's kind of amazing. Okay, let's do one more together and then I'm going to show you how you would do the closure. So, pop that through, find my spacing, wrap around my fingers, keeping them parallel, popping through the hole. And this one's kind of out there a ways, so I'm going to use my T-pin here, or my awl. My awl will be better because I won't accidentally get myself with it. To kind of move that knot where I want it. Like so. All right, so let's pretend that this is as far as we want. We're done. Barbie's got her bracelet and she's ready to wear it. So now all we have to do is create this little opening that we're going to use as a bracelet loop, as a clasp loop, okay? So I'm going to kind of guesstimate over here how much space I need. I'm going to be able to move this knot before I tighten it down so it doesn't matter. And what I'm going to do is as I kind of get it down a little bit, so it's not completely closed, I'm going to test the button and see how big I need this opening to be to get the button through. And the answer is I'm kind of right in there. So I'm going to now go ahead and tighten down. Tighten. Before I cut this off, let's try it one more time and make sure that all works. It does. Like so. Beautiful. And now I can just cut this leather off. I'll kind of cut it at an angle. You got a little bit of a tassel going on there. And there is Barbie's bracelet, and she is ready to wear it. Can you believe how fast that was? Okay, now I know this is a Barbie bracelet, but it would have only taken me like an extra 5 minutes to complete a human size. And it's so satisfying. And your friends are going to be like, holy cow, did you just make that? And you're going to be like, yeah, I just whipped that out. Yeah, I'm awesome. Yeah, I know. So we have kits for you at jillwisemandesigns.com. We have got raw materials. So if you want to pick out your own color of leather, your own button, your own color of freshwater pearl, we got all that for you. Go check it out at jillwisemandesigns.com. And then be sure to come to the Jill Wiseman Designs Beaters group on Facebook and show us what you made, because we love seeing all the different color combos that people come up with. Thanks so much, and happy knotting.